Sorry if that crinkly is loud. I might have been talking to myself for the last 20 minutes, and that's just fine. Like I said, I'm still figuring it out, my friends. Box number 6. 4. How many are in here? Number 1. What should I build first? Number 1 or number 2? Number 1, number 2. Number 1, number 2. Number 1, number 2. Number 1, number 2. You tell me. Base plates. Number 3, number 5, number 6. Number 4, number 7. Oh my gosh, there's so many bags. That's number 7. Number 1, are you just this little tiny bag? Another little tiny bag. Number 3. All right, well. Is this how thin these pieces are? That's amazing. It is, yeah, 2 little row houses, huh? Boom. And there it is. These are great. Legos spark joy in me, and they bring me happy because they remind me of the wonder of the world, and that everything in the world is built bit by bit. Those Legos are built bit by bit. And if you go down far enough, we are all built out of the same stuff, which is flippin' amazing. And it's fantastic that we are all made out of the same stuff. And it makes us super special. It makes you super special. Yep. Because even though we're all made out of the same stuff, friends, the electromagnetic signals and gravity that work upon your sensory organs all day work on your organs in a different way than they work on mine. And my brain sees the world slightly differently than yours. And because of that, you can contribute to the world in a slightly different way than I can. What are your gifts? What are your superpowers? What do you create? What does your brain see or want to put into the world that wasn't there before? Because that is our superpower. You have the ability to take things from your imagination that are not currently in the world and put them into the world. Have you thought about that? That's flippin' amazing. That's the stuff of movies. We just have a little bit of a delay in our ability to manifest it. But if we put our minds to things and take consistent action towards them, we can go to Mars. Shoot, we can leave the solar system. I love that Voyager and Voyager 2 are interstellar travelers right now. All right, I'm doing number 1. I'm just starting at book 1. Build the figures. Do you name all your minifigures? Bam. All right. So, the pieces. How many of these do you have now? I've got so many. I understand that. I mean, they're cool and they put them in every box, but I just don't need so many anymore. All right, what do we got? So, Legos remind me that being a child and seeing the world through a child's eyes, which is to say through wonder, through unfiltered lenses, that is an amazing thing, and that we should never let it go. That is what gets pounded out of us in the factory system that is school. That is the school system right now. We are struggling with what to do with our daughter in school. She is 6 and she is super bright. And I mean, if you know anything about the education system, about how it started and where it went, essentially think about industrialization in factories. And it was that, right? We needed workers, we needed educated workers to go, not educated, but we needed literate people to go into the world, right? To go do things in the world and to create. And so we wanted to educate the populace. But the only way that we knew how to do that was through manufacturing, through industrialization, through the methods that had worked before. We're going to use those again. And so we implemented that, where we have the students go in and go into a factory. We sit in lines, we sit in rows. Somebody stands at the front of the row and instructs and teaches right at you, not engaging with you, but rather teaching at you. And the opposite of Socratic teaching, the opposite of what had been proven to work and to increase intellect and to challenge students to find the answers and to connect neurons in their brains to find new answers and new solutions to things, because our brains are flipping amazing. And if we get out of the way, they will do so much incredible work for us. And as our bodies too, they are pretty amazing as well. But now with our daughter, she is at a school that it's a good school. And they pride themselves on not being the factory, even though of course they're still arranged in rows and the teacher is still teaching. It's a classical education, and I thought that was going to mean more Socratic and open and child-centered or child-led learning. And indeed, it is not. And she is so much of an artist, so much of a free spirit, and that is her natural inclination is to paint and create and practice art as and I'm a craftsman, I'm an actor. My wife is an actor, a theater practitioner, theater creators, and we figured that would come out in her, and we want to nourish that in her. And the school, it's not their fault, but they just don't know what to do with her in terms of her energy and her giddiness, her focus level. And it's not focus on, focus is a funny thing, right? We talk about the ball of focus and how it can wander off, and then you can bring it right back to you, because that ball of focus is a skill, and training that ball of focus is a skill that you can do. You can get the ball of focus more and more on one subject the more and more you practice being aware of being aware. It's a strange thing, but the more you're aware of your awareness, the more you can be aware when your consciousness drifts away and goes someplace else, because it does. It's what it does. Right? Brains create thoughts. That's what they do. And because of that, our brains will go off. We are constantly in hypnotic states, in autopilot and routines that are optimized for our current situation. I totally forgot my train of thought, of course, right now as I'm looking for these other great pieces, and I'm trying not to be loud. Although perhaps is it ASMR? The community may enjoy the Lego sounds. I'm sure some do. I mean, I don't mind them. I just don't want them to be so loud in the microphone. All right, microphone off. I'm going to shuffle this up. Success! Got it. Bam, bam. How is everyone's day going? Everybody having a great day? I sure hope so. I sure want you to be happy, my friends. Why happy? Well, because happy people are productive people. And happy people... Oop, did I mess that up? Yeah, I did. I messed that up. Happy people contribute more to society. Which is not to say that, Newton the curmudgeon did not. Obviously, Sir Newton contributed to society at the same time as he did not like people. I'm going down looking for the peace. Don't know where I went. We'll find it later. But we know that happy people are more likely to support others in their endeavors, give back to their communities. And really, when you're walking down the street, wouldn't you just rather see people smiling and happy as opposed to grumpy ass, running around? Grumpy people smiling, or grumpy not smiling, grumpy people just grumping at you and brr. No. I want happy people. Where is the great? I grew up in Chicagoland, and in Chicagoland, nobody really said hello to each other in the street. And when I I cannot find this piece, it's annoying me. So when I get annoyed, I sing. I sing until I find it. I'll tell you the St. Thomas, some of that in a second here. There you go. Got it. That's the piece. All right. So the St. Thomas, when I was 19, sold all my stuff and moved to St. Thomas. Woo! The follies of youth. It was a great time, though. And I wouldn't change a thing. Not that. One second. Where? Heard it. All right. Let's get back to it, my friends. What was I talking about? Who will remind me? No. Inevitably, something about happiness. I'm trying to be happy, stay happy in this crazy world. As a theater practitioner, I am highly interested in the human condition and the things that make humans do what they do. Their motivations. Why do we do what we do? Why do people do that? Certainly you've run across people in your life that you thought to yourself, why in the world did they do that? Certainly I've done things in my life that I look back and I say, what were you doing? What were you doing? Well, you know what you're doing. You were being a kid. You were being immature and being a kid. Because brains take time to age. All right. Speaking of the child, I remember in about school for her, we, like I said, are struggling to find a proper place for her because we want her to be able to explore what it is she is interested in. At the same time, we know that that those other things will come. She is the daughter of theater actors, so she has been reading and watching us perform since she was born, and has gone on stage and spoken Hamlet. To be or not to be, that is the question. What's just over in the mind to 500 kids at a big old student matinee we were doing. She can read wonderfully. She has a great grasp, and she can spell fine. She just doesn't want to. And I remember that. You remember that? I certainly do. You remember like not wanting to do stuff as a kid? And what are you gonna do? How are you gonna get? What? You're just gonna force them? You're gonna? No, right? That doesn't reinforce what I want her to know, which is that in this life, we need to find joy in the process. There's a lot of stuff in life that is not necessarily what you would love to be doing ideally in that exact moment in time, but just because of that doesn't mean that you can't find joy in the moment, in the process, doing what you're doing. And that is a lesson I really want her to understand. And I think at some point it gets beaten out of kids while they're in school. Obviously, I don't mean literally beaten out, I mean figuratively beaten out, because they go from the joy of learning and the joy of going to school to it being a labor. And it shouldn't be a labor. Right? If we as parents have done our job, they should want to learn about the world. They should want to know what is happening in the world and how things work and the relationships between things. They're already interested in those things. Children are innately curious about those things, how the world works, why the world works, what it's doing, when it's doing, how it's doing it. They love to figure out relationships. Why? Well, because our brains are pattern-seeking machines. It's what they do. So we should lean into the natural inclination of each child and let them explore what it is they want to explore and follow what it is that the term neuroatypical, as I am, of course, obviously. But really, aren't we all? Don't we all have a separate and distinct neurology? I understand there are common patterns, and from that we can diagnose and then predict. I get that. But we are all distinct. All of our brains work slightly differently. And we're going to make slightly different patterns and be interested in slightly different things at different times. So, we are not worried about her brain, as it were, and her ability to learn things. Even if she doesn't learn one thing now, doesn't mean in a year she's not going to be wholly interested in that and learn all about that one thing. All right. So step one is building this guy here. Oh my gosh, why didn't somebody tell me? Murphy, put it back on this one. Do that. Do that. Now they can like watch or something. I don't know. What are you, new? Yeah, I am. I can see my reflection. Loud noises! That'll work. I'm happy with it. It's good enough for government work. It's so sad. That's even a thing. It's good enough for government work. Some of the best advice that my father ever gave me, and he may not have given it to me, maybe I just attributed it to him in my mind, was that if you take pride in what you do, the rest will just kind of fall into place. And that advice has proven invaluable to me as I have pursued passions in life and happiness. I've pursued passion and happiness, not things that make me money or make me material. I don't need material objects. I need memories. I need moments, rather. I don't even need memories. I need moments. That's all we got. We have right now. That's it. We have this moment. That's it. Yep, it's all I'm guaranteed is this exact moment. So it's not even memories, it's moments, it's right now. And that is what I love about theater and what I love about acting is that it is about the now, it is about the present. You know, it's about the day something happened, usually something terrible, sometimes something funny, those are great, but usually something terrible. And on that day when something terrible happens, what do humans do? How do we react? How do we find solace? How do we move forward? Because, you know, is this right? Is this right? This looks off to me. Oh, no, that's not right. See? See? I knew it. Yeah, I do voices because, you know, it's just what you do because my brain is weird. So you can have fun with that, yeah, and you can request it too. You tell me, and I'll speak in some accent for a while if you want. Oh, I used to back in Chicago. I used to work as a waiter, as all actors at some point in their lives do, I'm sure. Work as a waiter, and we get this one here right. Yeah, bam, bam. I used to call myself Bailey. I'd be from Ireland. Oh yeah, and I would work the whole shift there, working from Ireland. Welcome there. Welcome to Unis. Good to see you. What can I bring you? And I would work shifts. I had my name tag. And do you think I got better tips as an Irishman? You know I did. You know I got better tips as an Irishman. Because the Irish are awesome, obviously. Whoop, that's not right. Can't get it out. That's what she said. So that's we've been watching The Office. That's not typically something I would ever say. Thank you, Michael Scott. God damn, did you know that actually animals they get stuck when they're banging each other? Our friend had Shih Tzus that would get stuck, and he would have to go separate them. But that's how we got our puppy, so that's awesome. But who knew? That's so strange to me. All right. So what am I doing here? Let's see what I'm doing. I can't do geometry. It's supposed to go to the center. I would love to hear how your day's going. What's going on out there in the world. Find it. Find the peace. If you need a daily dose of happy, this is the place for you. If you want to hang out with someone weird, but kind of smart, you know, a little bit on some things, but you know, I'm really just a dummy. But that's fine. Where? Can't find the peace. Where are you, little piece, little piece? Where are you? Little piece found. See, it's more proof that you just got to enjoy the process. Boop. And then, you know, just let it unfold. Let it unfold as it's happening. You can't fight it. You just got to yes and, right? Life it's not a highway, my friend. It's not a highway. I want to ride it all night long. It is a big improv session. It is a yes and. It is an exercise in the ability to say yes. What's next? Because life is going to keep throwing stuff at you. It's going to keep happening. Right there. Yep. Bam. And how do we adapt to those changes? And what do we do? So that's where we got, and now we need the base frame. What else sparks joy in you, my friends? Legos spark joy in me. Theater sparks joy in me. Being on stage sparks joy in me. Telling stories and acting sparks joy. Teaching sparks joy in me. Teaching and acting sparks joy in me. What sparks joy in you? And how often do you get to do that thing? And if you don't get to do that thing, why? Why not? Why not more often? What are some methods, some strategies by which you could get to do that thing more often? Because if there is one thing that this brave new world has shown us, it is that you can monetize anything, which is amazing. Because and it's not that you couldn't do that before, but now we have a communication channel that we didn't have before. We have methods of getting it to the people that we didn't have before. And because of that, truly, whatever your quirk is, there's a way for you to find happiness in the process and make money along the way. Because, we still need money in this world to get things, even if those things are memories. Making memories with those that you love. So do you all find it interesting that loneliness is so pervasive in the world? Even though we are now more interconnected than we have ever been, we've still got an epidemic of loneliness. We have folks who are unable to connect with other human beings and enjoy their short time together on this planet. For a multitude of reasons. And again, that is why I am interested in happiness and emotions and managing unpleasant emotions and how we get through and move past the negative events in life. Because it's not the happy ones that are sticky, unfortunately. And that can make us, we can remember them, and we can remember them with joy. What did I miss? Mr. Peace! You were distracting me. Oh my gosh. People distracting. So I wish someone was distracting me, but no one was distracting me, my friends. There we go. Bam. What's that? What's that? Yep. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, it's wonderful having a daughter and being an actor. As a student of the human condition, of emotions and objectives and obstacles and how we get what we want in this world, because that is what acting is, right? It's people with wants in the world, trying to get them, and how do we go about getting those wants? And watching a child live purely in the moment, from one moment to the next, living so openly and honestly, I mean, so perceptive to the world. It is just such a joy, and it is such a masterclass as an actor. It's such a wealth of information and just wonderful being watching a human live, because that is what we go for on stage, achieving verisimilitude, achieving life, truth on stage, and that's all she knows is truth. I mean, yes, she knows deception. Of course she does, which is also very interesting to watch. Because again, objectives. I have something I want. How do I get it? And learning that is that not right? Oh, I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't think that's right. Hold, my friends. I appear to have made an error. That and that should be touching. Oh, yep, okay. See what I did. So it's great to watch how she is managing to get through this world, how she is managing emotions and objectives and obstacles and wants and needs, and learning how to get what she wants. And most importantly, in school we learned that one of the mantras, rather, was that there are no transitions. One moment. Gotta find it. There we go. There are no transitions, only transformations. Which means that we go from one emotion to the next. We don't linger in an emotion. We don't struggle to go from one emotion to another. We don't struggle to start laughing. We don't struggle to start crying. We don't struggle to be vulnerable, to be angry, happy, mad, sad. Any of those things. We don't struggle. They come to us. When they happen, right? Our brain floods our brain gets flooded, rather, with neurotransmitters and hormones, and changes instantly what we're doing and feeling in the moment. And that is what happens, right, with the child. That's what happens with us. And watching it happen for her, because it is so honest and open. It's a beautiful thing to watch humans being human, even if she's only 6 years old. She still has an amazing grasp of emotion and living truly in the moment, and the ability to let things go and not linger on what had happened in the past, and change our breath. We can change our state. Focus on that a lot. If you are not aware of how are we? I'm going for it. I'm putting it there. Not sure if that is where it goes. Wait. Can't be, because I see it there. All right. So mess that up. That's gonna hurt. Get off. That's fine. All right. So our emotions start outside our bodies. All right. They start in the world as impulses, traveling, gravity, or an electromagnetic wave, right? Gravity can trigger an emotion. Suddenly you're falling. That's gravity. Boop, you feel emotions. But most likely it's electromagnetic waves coming into your senses, your ears and your eyes. And those trigger your brain to have a reaction. And that reaction happens without you knowing, and happens instantly. Go. And that reaction changes, right? Your sympathetic nervous system changes your heartbeat, your posture, and your breathing, your facial expression. So your posture, your breathing, your facial expression, your heart rate, all of those things, your blood pressure get affected instantly by the input that just came into your brain. And so those things change instantly. We don't have any control of them. And then our brain says, whoa, something just happened. Something just changed in us. What are we experiencing? And then it uses those signals to determine what emotion we're feeling. It uses those signals to determine, oh, that's what's happening right now. Is it a flight? Is it a fight? Is it happy? Is it the other one? And then based on those things, we move in the world, right? But if it's fright, if it's scare, if a cheetah pops out in front of us, our body instantly reacts. Our brain instantly floods our body, and engages all of our senses ready for flight, so that we can run, and our body. And from there, now our body knows, ooh, I'm scared, something's happening, I gotta run. And it takes that, and then you move in the world, or you freeze in the world, however that may be. But that initial, all of those reactions are very similar across cultures and across humanity. And we can use that as actors and as human beings to better get through this world, because our emotions often seem to be out of our control. And in fact, they are not. They are well within our control. They are not something that just happens to us. They are things that happen, but things that we can absolutely control and have control over, because our brains do not control us. Our brains control our body. And when we're not paying attention, our brains control us. But when we're paying attention, when we take the ball of focus and we put it on ourselves, then we can affect, that's not right, we can affect ourselves and our own emotional state. And there's a whole school of thought in acting that works from that external place, from that outside in, where it changes what's happening with your physical body first, and then from there generates emotional response that is tied to the action of the play, so it's real and it's not just an empty emotional response. But that is possible. You can generate emotional responses without any actual emotional input through posture, facial expression, and breathing. I could get you to cry, get you to laugh, all kinds of crazy stuff. But because of that, it also means that we have control. That if we're anxious, if we are not happy, we can look to some of those things. We can look to our breath and our posture and try to change our state, try to change our state of mind so that we can be more effective in the world, right? We have control of our happiness. And we have control of our emotions. So I think I'm good there. Yep. All right, and I think I'm good now for the stream, my friends. That's all I got right now for Happy Murphy's Happy Day. Happy Murphy's Happy Day. We will be back. I will, sometimes I refer to myself in the royal we. It's just what I do sometimes. What are you going to do? I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll do this again, and we will see the progress to be made on that. I appreciate you being here, as always. Thank you. And until next time, my friends, see you soon.